The Northeast DuBois School Board approves changes to free up money for building improvements. We'll give you more details on that. Plus, a Latino Summit is set to be held in Huntingburg next month. More from this morning's press conference, and Purdue Extension educator Jan Dugan is tonight's guest on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. The Northeast DuBois School Corporation will soon have more money available to make improvements to its buildings. Last night, the school board approved the refinancing of its debt service bonds with its building corporation. The bonds would be extended 18 months, and paying them off would free up roughly $840,000 for repair and improvement projects across the district over the next 3 years. The reimbursement to the building corporation for the bonds would be $3.5 million. The district's tax rate will not change as a result of this bond refinancing, and no referendum will be needed, though 2 amendments were made to the district's lease on the middle school building. The bond refinancing comes at a time when the Capital Projects Fund has been on the decline due to cuts in state funding. To that end, Superintendent Bill Hoaksong told the board that the fund has become an emergency use only fund over the last year or so. The need for the money also came about after various repair projects, including boiler issues at the high school earlier this year, drained most of this year's fund. Interest rates are also lower than what they were when bonds were originally issued back in 2004, yet another reason for the refinancing. Hoaksong says it is vital for the district to be able to keep its facilities up and running.
We've got to get to a point where we can be proactive rather than reactive, or sit on our hands and hope nothing goes wrong. And that's really what we became here this past year is we just got to the point where we hope nothing broke down or nothing, because we just simply didn't have the money in reserves to fix things when they broke. And that, and on top of that, we want our kids to have the best opportunity they can. So technology-wise, comfort-wise, whatever it is, we want the best for our kids.
Hoaksong also shared data about what other school corporations across the state have done. Out of 294 districts, 101 of those have either had or will have a referendum in the near future to get necessary funding. In other business, the board approved starting an alternative credit recovery program for students at the high school. Data presented by high school principal Rick Gladish last night shows an increasing number of students at the high school who are at risk due to their academic struggles. The data also shows the number of special education students is on the rise within the district. Gladish says the program is a necessity to help the students who are struggling.
We are seeing more students need more credit recovery opportunities, and we're also noticing that we've got more students that are withdrawing from school, and they seem to be looking for some other opportunity, whether it's a true homeschool situation or whether it's, again, something like an Indiana Connections that pretty much has a totally online curriculum. So we're beginning to move in a direction where maybe we can offer some of those things and meet the needs of more students.
Gladish says the program would allow for students to retake courses and get the credits in a much shorter time frame than the current process. Currently, students go through the online remediation over the summer, a process that Gladish argues is not really feasible for graduating seniors that need to get credits made up. The program would be run by a mentor, and Gladish stated that it's critical to have the right person in place to run this program. He says they are looking to start the program this fall. Folks who use State Road 145 in southern DuBois County will have to find a new route for the time being. The Indiana Department of Transportation says the road is closed indefinitely from the junction with Interstate 64 to the junction with State Road 64. INDOT says the closure was brought about by concerns with a bridge about 4.3 miles to the north of I-64. INDOT is set to have crews out repairing the bridge, and they say once repairs are done and signed off on, the road will reopen to traffic. In the meantime, a detour route will be available, and that route will utilize I-64 as well as State Road 37 and State Road 64. Additionally, INDOT says crews are set to continue pothole patching work along I-64 in the near future. Lane restrictions will continue in DuBois, Perry, Spencer, and Warwick counties. Starting on Monday, NDOT crews will be working in both directions of I-64 between State Road 61 and State Road 37. Officials say all work is set to begin at 7 a.m. local time and be done by 4 p.m. each day. All work is set to be done by next Friday, April 25th. That, of course, is weather permitting. As always, NDOT is reminding motorists to follow posted work zone speed limits, use caution, and consider worker safety when traveling in work zones across the state. A new area code is on its way, and folks need to be prepared. That was the message delivered this morning at the 5th round of the Huntingburg Chamber's Business Education Series. Pepper Mulheron with AT&T was this morning's speaker. Topics included what the change was, how it will affect folks in our area, and how to get prepared. Mulheron says businesses are among the primary areas of concern for phone companies as the new area code is implemented.
That's the one that worries me the most, is customers that have PBX systems and sophisticated office equipment, that it's probably programmed right now to dial 7 digits. And getting that change early, before the September 6th date, is critical. The last thing anyone wants to do is come in the office September 6th and have no calls processed.
Mulheron says phone companies also remain concerned about the lack of interest in the issue from community folks thus far. She says the change will happen sooner than people may think. Meanwhile, Huntingburg Chamber Director Nick Stevens went through an area code change himself when the 765 area code was implemented in north central Indiana a little more than 10 years ago. He says the importance of being prepared for it cannot be overstated.
I think it's super important to get the word out about the new area code, the overlay, what's going on with it, because it affects everybody. Businesses, individuals, everybody who uses a phone or any other device needs it. So I think it's important for business because, come September 6th, you go and like, oh, I'm going to call the chamber 683-5699, and it gives you a message. You're going to go, what happened to them? Well, it's not what happened to them. You just need to dial 812.
Now, March 1st marked the beginning of a 6-month grace period for folks to get used to the dialing changes as the 930 area code is implemented. Folks are being asked during this 6-month period to begin using 10-digit dialing for all local phone calls. 7-digit dialing will still work until September 6th for local calls. However, local calls will all become 10-digit dialing beginning on that date. The 930 area code is being added to the area through an overlay method, a method that officials say has been used for every new area code added across the nation since 2008. The positive news about this overlay: you don't have to change your existing phone number. New landlines will be assigned the 930 area code beginning on October 6th. That also applies to customers who move to a new location in southern Indiana at that time. DuBois County has found its next solid waste director. This morning, the county's Solid Waste Management Board approved the hiring of Ferdinand resident Carla Striegel-Winter to fill the vacancy. The 43-year-old Striegel-Winter replaces David Flynn. Flynn resigned recently to accept a government job in Somalia. Flynn served in the Marines for more than 20 years prior to coming to DuBois County. Striegel-Winter becomes the 4th solid waste director in the last year. Tony Lubers originally resigned back in February of last year, and she was replaced by Lee Kraft. Kraft died of a heart attack last summer, and Flynn took his place back in August. Striegel-Winter got her bachelor's degree in social work from Ball State University back in 1992. She has served as a social worker in the Southeast DuBois School Corporation, and she also worked with the State Department of Natural Resources, leading outdoor education programs at Patoka Reservoir. Striegel-Winter's husband, Jamie Winter, is currently the property manager for Ferdinand State Forest. Striegel-Winter is set to start her new job on May 1st. Finally this evening, Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spenner and Maura Robinson of MG Robinson Incorporated have announced details of an upcoming Latino Summit. The summit will be the first of its kind to be held in DuBois County. Robinson previously hosted a Latino Summit in Evansville. The city and MG Robinson are partnering together with local businesses and other community organizations to host the summit, which will be held Friday, May 9th from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Huntingburg Event Center. These include Vincennes University Jasper Campus, German American, and Toyota Manufacturing of Indiana. Robinson says the message of acceptance will be the biggest theme of the event.
It's okay that I'm Latina, it's okay that I'm here, but really we want to be part of the community, and I think that the summit is going to continue to help bringing that awareness that we want to be welcome. We want to understand the North American culture as well. You want to understand us. Because at the end of the day, we're here to work together to make our communities be successful.
Meanwhile, Spinner says from a city standpoint, the event will be about bringing everyone together.
Understanding that there is a desire on the Latino side to really be part of the community is something that would really open our, I think it'll open our eyes and provide us with an opportunity to really take advantage of the vast the talents that are available in the Latino community that's there that we have not tapped.
Several different people are scheduled to speak during the summit. These will include Reverend Dennis Robinson with St. Meinrad's School of Seminary and Theology. Maura Robinson is also set to speak, as is Cheryl Stanton with the Southwest DuBois School Corporation. Now, the public is invited to attend the summit. The cost to register is $35 per person, which includes materials and lunch. Several sponsorship levels are available, and booth rentals will cost $30. Questions can be directed to Maura Robinson at 457-8423. All right, coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform featuring Purdue Extension educator Jan Dugan. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.